You are listening to Storymakers, the podcast for women who are ready to step into their true identity, live with meaningful purpose, find belonging and connection, grow in leadership, and walk boldly in faith. Here you can uncover the story that you were created to live because you were made for such a time as this. Have you ever had one of those days where you wake up and you know that you're empty before you even make your coffee, brush your teeth, do all of the things? Like, I am so tired, and I'm just going to be honest here. No reason to have a podcast and have anything to say to anybody if you're not just going to be honest. I am fatigued, both mentally and emotionally, but also creatively fatigued. I create all the time, and I am really feeling empty. Like, I almost feel like I need a month-long sabbatical in the middle of mountains next to a lake alone. I am really drained. And as much as I manage my time and try to be productive, and as much as I consume only to produce up until, the end of the day, so I'm not spending my time consuming things that are wasteful, but I am also not finding real rest and time to be restored. And by restored, I don't mean poured into. I don't need more messages. I don't need more meetings. I don't need more workshops or sermons. I need restoration. I need for the Lord to fill my soul from that spiritual place. I need the door of my spirit, that most inner being, to swing wide and restore what's going on in my soul, the inner being. And then that right there brings health and healing to the outer being, my body. And I know this. I think that everything I see out there in the world says change everything about your body and you'll feel better. But I believe that while you should take care of your body, that outer vessel is really important, that outer being. But it also came from dust, is going to go back to dust. There is a natural progression of growing and then, lessening. What's the opposite of growth? Shrinking? There is obviously a change. And at my stage of life, definitely in the middle of a change. And it's okay. It's as it should be. I'm not going to complain about it. I don't sleep good at night. I don't remember. It might have been years since I've actually slept all the way through the night without just being sick and that causing it. And it's been children and moving and change and crisis that's kept me awake. But now that stuff is kind of settled, and it's the insomnia that comes with, the insomnia that comes with perimenopause and menopausal stage of life, the changes in the body, the changes in the hormones. I want to take care of all of that. I want to be able to sleep better. But I really believe that without tending to what's happening in the soul and the fatigue that happens within the mind, the emotions, the will, and everything that is just contained you, what makes you you on the inside. If I don't take care of that, that's the part that actually feeds the central nervous system, the limbic system, everything going on in my actual body. There's a manifestation of what's happening in my soul happening in my body. And I know this, and I can feel it. I don't know if you can ever feel it, but I can feel the shift in my soul that feels like, what? My body could get sick right now very easily not because of the weather, not because of viruses, but because of my soul. My soul is worn down, it's depleted. And I totally believe in nourishing your spirit so that you can invite your spirit, bless your spirit to lead your soul and your body. There are 3 parts of us. The Bible very clearly lays it out. And I try to do that. And yet I'm still so tired. I'm still so worn out and empty in my soul. My brain is tired too. And I'm saying this because if you might not feel this right now, but there are times in your life you're going to feel this. You're going to feel it for different reasons. And I just want to speak to it. Literally thinking today, I'm going to record a podcast episode, and I'm like, I have nothing to say. I have so many notes. I have so many bullet points of things that I want to share, things I want to teach, things I want to encourage you in, things I want to inspire you to. And I don't today. I was like, I have nothing to give. I have nothing to pour out. And when I hit those moments, I know that the only thing I have to say or give anybody else is the truth about me and where I'm at. And as I look at where I'm at, what I hear the Lord say to me to do, and also how to reach into what is already within me, the tools and resources, the knowledge, the things that God's done in the past, the testimony. When I have been depleted in the past, what do I know now from what worked and what didn't work? You know what I mean? So that's what I have to give you today, is the fact that I'm empty and I know it. And that means I have been here before. I'm clear on what it feels like. I know what it feels like for your carrier to be broken. I know what it feels like for the meter to be all the way to the left, past the red, and the tank to be empty. And I have resources and tools and knowledge and experience here. I have testimony of how God has brought me through very empty times. And sometimes the emptiness was associated or accompanied by trauma or other harder things. Whereas right now, I just feel empty and tired. But sometimes in the past, my emptiness and tired has been accompanied by desolation, loneliness, rejection, hurt, accusation, like all the things. So I want to speak to that because you might be experiencing some of those things as well. And first things first, all I can tell you is to have hope and do what you can to set your mind on the things above, and try not to meditate and get into those thought loops that cycle you and keep you spinning downward, like the spiral downward into the pit where there's all those poisonous beliefs, the root system of nasty lies and ugly accusations and all the things that the enemy wants to use against you. Put the eyes of your heart on the things above, right? So think about what is good and trustworthy, praiseworthy, hopeful. Like, catch yourself when you're thinking about things that spiral and ask yourself, is this helpful? I don't have to keep thinking this. Like, I don't have to hold on to this thought. I don't have to keep believing this. I can actually stop it right here and decide, I don't want to think that. Even if my mind tells me that's true, it might not be a fact. And even if it's been true to me in the past, it's not helping me to think about it. It's not helping me to have a belief system about it. Maybe it's not helpful or hopeful, and maybe it's just unhelpful, but also maybe it's actually harmful. Could it be harming you? I have to catch my thoughts and say, is this thought helpful? I was telling a friend last night how when my husband doesn't have a good night of sleep, he wakes up and he verbalizes the lack of recovery or sleep that he got and how he feels. I have stopped doing that. I don't verbalize it. I prefer people to not ask me how I slept. I usually don't sleep good. But me telling everybody I didn't sleep good, it doesn't help. It's not helpful. It's not helping anybody. Nobody wants that information, really. Nobody wants to know I didn't sleep good. I just look at it like I just don't sleep well in this season of my life. I don't know when I will, but I'm not going to spend my time and energy thinking about it, and I'm not going to complain about it. And not just complain, I'm not even going to talk about it. Obviously, I'm talking about it right now, but on the daily, I don't tell people that I didn't sleep good. And if I'm cranky, I take a nap, or I just walk myself through it and say, like, tomorrow will be different. I might not sleep good tonight, but maybe I won't be cranky tomorrow. Or I will go outside. I will do something to help counter the crankiness. And that might just be telling people I'm cranky. I need to be alone. You're not safe with me right now. That's okay. So I guess I would say, not that I ever have a polished episode, a message to share with you, but this is definitely not a polished one. It's not neatly packaged and tied together with a pretty little bow, because I'm just, I'm so at an emptiness that I'm having a hard time finding my words. Like, I can't remember what something is called, and I just said what it was called. I just picked it up. I just touched it. I just talked about it, and suddenly that word is gone. And all of this, the brain fog, all of it, yeah, it comes along with a stage of life and all of the things. But you know what? Sometimes it just comes with the fact that we carry a lot of responsibility, especially as women. There's just a lot of stuff on our shoulders. And it doesn't mean anybody else put it there, but we've definitely either put it there ourselves or we've allowed it to be there. And when you have responsibility, especially if you don't have authority to go with it, you can feel really trapped and paralyzed. You can feel like it's unending. You can feel overwhelmed. You can be really confused. It doesn't feel good to have a lot of responsibility, no authority or little authority to do anything about what you feel responsible for, especially when it comes to other people, because we can't be responsible for them. We're only truly responsible and have any authority about ourselves, what we think, what we feel, what we do, the results we create in our lives. And we can try to change ourselves all day long and try to manage what other people are experiencing by changing us. And it really doesn't do any good. Because if somebody is set that they believe something that makes them think something, makes them feel something, then we can't make somebody happy by changing us. Because if they've decided that they're going to be unhappy, there's literally nothing we can do about that. We can talk, apologize, work really hard till we're blue in the face. But if somebody's decided not to be happy, we can't change that. If somebody's decided they don't like us, like, what are you going to do? And there's just this measure of responsibility that asking yourself, is this mine to do, requires. Like, it's normal that there's a lot on our shoulders, but it doesn't have to be normal that we live that way 24/7, that we wake up in the middle of the night thinking about the things that we carry throughout the day. So today, with my fatigue, I have just, I was kind of moved to tears a little bit by a statement somebody said that didn't feel very good. It didn't feel very light. It didn't feel very thoughtful. That was not this person's intention, but what it did is allowed this emotion to rise to the surface within me. And honestly, that emotion needed to come out. What this person said was simply like the conveyor, the vessel of allowing emotion within me that was trapped and didn't have a reason to come out yet to rise up and kind of just pour forth, right? So over my heated up cup of coffee, I shed some tears. I locked myself in my office and I just let it happen. And that's when I got to say, I am just so tired right now. There's just a lot right now. I feel alone. I feel tired. I feel all of the feels. And I hadn't been feeling them because I'd been thinking so much. I hadn't gotten to the place where those thoughts and the overwhelm, the emptiness had turned into emotion. So you have to allow yourself to have space to emote, to cry, to get angry, to feel the sadness, to feel the grief. And those things are in there. They just need permission.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay. I don't know. I said something and Siri thought I was talking to her. So I don't know if you heard that. She said, sorry, I don't understand. You're not supposed to understand. I'm not talking to you. Well, at least you don't have to feel lonely if you have a smartphone near you. You can just ask SIRI to tell you a joke. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. Anyway, I digress. I was saying that it's important to allow the emotions to come up and go out, because if you don't, then they actually stay within your body and they affect your nervous system, they affect your muscles, your joints. And I've said this on the podcast before. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It's a really good book, but even just the concept of it, if you would do a little research about like, what does the body keeps the score teach? And what does this mean? It's basically talking about how trauma and emotion, the things that we experience, they're not just in your emotions. They're not just in your mind, but they're actually in your body. Emotions need to be able to flow through your body so that they can come out. And when you shut them down and say, like, I don't have time for that, or it's wrong that I feel that way, or I can't let anybody see that, I'm not safe, then you suppress them, but they stay in your body because emotions are biochemical responses within your body. Emotions are physical and chemical. They're not just this ethereal, unseen heart thing that people can turn off. Whether you think that you're emotional or not, you have a lot of emotion. You're just not doing anything healthy with it if you're not letting it flow through and out at times. So that said, I want to think about what I would say to myself or to a client or a daughter or a friend, and say, how could I help somebody? Because this is what I would have to say to coach myself through, to remind myself, to renew my mind and walk through moments like this. Because you have moments too where you don't feel inspired and you don't have clarity and you don't feel like you have anything to give. And sometimes it feels, when you get to these situations, these moments, like you're supposed to just press on, you're supposed to push through, you're supposed to override all of it, you're supposed to produce anyway, you're supposed to act like you're fine. And especially as women, what do? We get up and we keep going. We're kind of just made that way, a lot of us. And a lot of men are like, oh, I don't feel good. I can't do anything today. And I'm like, yeah, I have never said that. I don't give it. There's no opportunity. I just don't have that built in me that I can just say, I don't feel good today. I can't do anything. And my husband pushes through a lot, but also I think it's just a natural thing. The man flu can, that little head cold that puts somebody in the ER, I think is real. It's kind of funny, but it's real. So I have learned something about these seasons that, number one, I would say to you and myself, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're depleted, if you're wrung out, if you're empty, there's nothing wrong with you. And this situation is just revealing that there's stuff going on that needs attention inside of you. So you have to just really slow down long enough to listen, get yourself quiet, get yourself alone. And if you don't, then you end up adding more pressure to the depletion. It's almost like a big weight sitting on a space of emptiness, like inside of a container. Like it's just, there's nothing there. And then there's weight on top of it. Like that's not helpful. It's not, that weight's not helping to fill up what's empty. It's just putting added weight and pressure. And then that emptiness feels heavier than it really even has to be or is. So yeah, the first thing is that I encourage you to name what you're actually feeling instead of just saying like, I'm so tired. What kind of tired are you? I am physically tired. I know my body is like worn down right now in this season. I can say my mind is tired. But for you, like, are you overstimulated? Are you thinking about too many things? Are you looping? Are you having thought loops and shame cycles around stuff that has happened or things that feel unresolved? Do you have decision fatigue? Is there a lot of stuff out there that you're avoiding, but you need to make decisions about it? Or is this an emotional tiredness? Obviously, there can be a blend of all of these. But are you feeling discouraged or muted, flat, disconnected, bitter, resentful? Like, what is it? What's the fatigue? Is it physical, mental, emotional, a blend of all of these? I have the creative fatigue, decision fatigue. Like, what is it for you? Give it a name, a label, a phrase, or just even a sentence of like what feels really true for you. If you just lump it all in together and like, I'm just tired, I'm empty, I have nothing, then you don't really have clarity about what you're facing. So how would you know what to do about it, right? You can't fix it. So separate it, and then you can really get an idea of what's going on. And then look at the things that are draining you in those areas. And not in general, like, I always get overwhelmed or drained by being a mom, running a business, going to work, like whatever it is. Be really specific and say, like, this week, when I'm feeling this way, where am I overcommitted? Where am I saying yes with my mouth, but no with my soul? And I need to get that in alignment. Where am I carrying things that are not mine to carry? Where am I showing up because I feel obligated instead of like desire or alignment to do it? Where am I, again, I would say mentally stuck on things that are not decided upon or resolved or figured out? Because all of our depletion is coming from somewhere. There is like a source beneath it, but we have to figure out what is the fruit so that we can trace it back to the root, right? If you don't identify what that is, then you're going to keep trying to fix the symptoms. You're going to keep trying to change the fruit instead of addressing the cause and digging up the roots. And then you have to look at the way that you're thinking about being in this situation. This is going back to where I say, consider what you say and think and dwell on. Is it helpful, hopeful, or is it unhelpful and maybe harmful? And this is where sometimes our interpretation of the circumstances are our paradigm about the facts we find ourselves in is making everything harder than it needs to be. We're feeling emptier because of our thoughts, not necessarily because of the circumstances. And if I have thoughts like, I should have more to give than this, I should be more full, I should be responsible to fill myself up so I never get depleted, or doing these things, they shouldn't be this hard. If they're this hard, what does that mean? Do I need to reconfigure? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to, or is sometimes just life hard? Is life hard at times and you just keep going, right? I don't have time to feel like this is a struggle. Like that's a thought that I have. I really don't have time to be depleted. I had too many things to do, which is why I'm depleted. Or maybe you feel like if you slow down, everything is you're going to get behind. Or if you slow down, then it just creates more work later. So you can't afford that. None of those thoughts create energy, desire, inspiration for you to wake up and get going, right? They just create more pressure. So instead of trying to jump to some perfect mindset, just walk up that thought ladder, go to the next rung, and think something that is honest, but more helpful. And say I have information about how I feel right now, but this is not me failing. I'm not failing. My capacity is not depleted. It's not empty. It is just a little low. And I don't like how it feels. I don't need to perform here. I can be honest. This is what I'm doing in this episode, trying to set an example, be a model. Don't show up to perform in your life. Be honest and be real. And if somebody wants to ask you, how are you doing today? And you feel like saying I feel like crap. Thanks for asking. I don't really want to talk about it with you. Go ahead. I give you permission. The whole world asking how everybody feels, but not really wanting to know the answer is a farce. We all do it. But what would it be like if you just told the cashier at Target and you're like, you know what? I feel like crap. How about you? I don't want to do this day. Do you? What if you were just honest? It might be really refreshing and maybe you'll never see her again. And then just have a thought I can do this where I am. I can do this on low. I can do this emptier than I would normally do this. I can lead even though I don't feel like leading, right? And then think about how these little shifts, these new thoughts, these intentional thoughts that want to help you get out of the pit. How does it feel in your body? And this whole time while you're going through this, ask yourself, what am I feeling in my body? Where do I feel it? Where is the depletion? Where do I feel it? For me, I'm thinking about it right now. Where do I feel empty? I feel like my head. Even with a headache, have a headache. It's almost just ugh, I don't even know the words to say. I'm surprised I've gotten this far. I guess I'm treating this like a counseling coaching session. Maybe that's why I feel like I have more to say. But I actually don't feel like I have meetings in 2 hours. I don't feel like having them. I have a phone call in 30 minutes. I don't feel like having it. I don't feel like I have anything to say, anything to give, a capacity to make decisions. And you know what? I am going to have those phone calls and meetings. Also, I'm going to have a massage tonight because this depletion and the stress, it's taking a toll on my body, and my soul, and it's feeding the toll on my body. But my shoulders are locked up. My neck is in so much pain. The back of my head, my headache. And I don't book a massage very often, but I know of somebody who can literally take the muscles out of my body, work on them over there on that counter and put them back in when she's done. So I need this. It's not self-care. This is me doing what needs to get done so I can wake up tomorrow and keep going. Because what I do is important. Because what I do matters to me. Because what I do is my passion, my calling, my vision, my mission. And these things are going to keep happening. I'm going to keep running my missions organization. I'm going to keep running my coaching business. I'm going to keep loving my children and my husband. I'm going to keep running my household. I'm going to keep doing all of these things. It's just a matter of whether or not I'm going to do them from an empty state or a more full state. And it's important to know, where do you feel your depletion? Where do you feel your stress? What's it feel like to be in the pit? And when you start walking up that thought ladder and intentionally thinking new thoughts that just say, possibly I could do this tomorrow. Maybe I can have some hope. I might, and you just walk yourself into new thoughts. You don't go straight from the pit and then tigger your way out to like incredible, fully powerful thoughts outside of the pit. You have to climb the ladder because that's how your brain works. Your brain isn't going to believe, your conscious mind is not going to believe, I am completely full just because your positive affirmations of the day say that you are. You have a belief system, an unconscious belief system, and subconscious patterns that have gotten you to this pit. And now you have to climb out through like incremental changes and intentional thoughts that lead to that. Because as your thoughts slowly change, your emotions will begin to change. Your body, will, and actions and behavior will begin to change. And you'll see a greater shift that's actually rooted instead of, I cut off the apple, I cut this fruit off because I don't like it, and I super glued an orange to it. I have different fruit, see? No, you're not going to get an orange because you have the roots of an apple tree. So if you're not dealing with the roots and starting from that place, if you are trying to change things through your conscious mind, then you're not going to get different fruit. You're going to cut off that thought and it's going to come back 7 times. You're going to have 7 new leaves and fruit that say, yeah, we're still here. So, yeah, instead of pushing harder, you have to find ways to support yourself. You have to get regulated. You need to give yourself some time. Turn off all of your devices. I would suggest don't listen to anything. Don't work. Give yourself some time. Take a walk. Take a nap. Sit in silence. Silence, solitude, and stillness are really, really important practices, and you need to find ways to implement them in your lives more often. Go outside, take a nice hot shower, drink something warm and comfortable, do some guided meditation. I love my Headspace app. Just sit and be sown into, like, put yourself in a position where your soul can find restoration, where you can hear from the Lord the truth. These are all very simple things, but they really, really matter. They add up. Take big, deep breaths. You need to oxygenate your brain. This is a huge problem. We all want to know why we have brain fog, and it's because we're slouching and we're breathing shallow, and our brain doesn't have enough oxygen. We're not hydrated enough. You need to drink some water, but find some some electrolytes. I use the LMNT brand. I buy it on Amazon. I love the grapefruit and the raspberry. Try it. Get yourself, hydrated and oxygenated. And then reduce all the input. Like I said, turn off your devices, but don't, turn off the news. Turn off Facebook. Turn off everybody else's commentary on the world that impacts your belief system and your thought life, the paradigm you operate from. Turn it off. Most of the time, it's just adding noise. And if you're going to read something, be really intentional about what you read or listen to. Give yourself just some space. Get creative. Do something to get your own brain and thoughts to come back online in a way that's helpful. And you don't have to be creating things that are extravagant or amazing. You don't have to go, if I'm going to take a walk, I have to drive myself an hour and a half so that I'm up on that, that one hill where you have the plateau at the top and you see this wide vista. And that is the only place that I'm going to be able to be still, silent, and have solitude. You don't need that. Just go to a park or walk down your neighborhood. It's about what you're doing with your mind. What's your soul doing while you take the walk? And you can do the other things, but those are not required. Extravagance and amazing is not required for you to hear from the Lord. And you don't have to be at your best, at your highest, at your most. Just be real. And there's people around you watching, and they're not always in a high energy or inspired place either. And they need to see how you're managing this time of your own depletion. We are called to mentor and model real life and getting through it and inviting the word and the love of God into our process, into our journey. So I'm just going to remind you, you are not behind. You're not failing. You're not losing out. You're not missing out. You're just in this state where I'm at right now, where your soul and your body need some attention, and attention to, what you really need, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively, physically, attention about like what has been too much in your life that you need to address, and what kind of things need to shift. And all of that doesn't have to get solved in one day, but write it out. I encourage you to write it out and pray through it. Talk to somebody you trust, and just take one little step to make a change. So if you were to ask yourself right now, like, what is one little thing I could do in the next couple of hours to feel a little bit better? Is that take a walk, take a nap, turn off the TV, make a list of priorities and get it all out of your head, do a brain dump? Like, what would help you right now just to feel a little bit less depleted, less empty, less hopeless, right? You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to come out of your nap, 20-minute nap, like fully recharged and ready to go. You're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, wait a minute, my soul is still depleted. You can do little bits. It's how you come out of this. So today, let's just be honest. I think being honest is when you actually find the place where real change can start happening. That's what I tell my coaching clients. Most people, if they want coaching, they want to get different results in their lives, right? People who want to get coached, they sign up for coaching, whether it's one-on-one or group coaching, because they want transformation. They want their results to be different, that they're creating in their lives. They want to feel different. They want to be different. They want to think different. And they're taking responsibility for what they can change, which is just about them. It's not about changing circumstances. It's really about renewing your mind. Jesus is the true transformation. And so when you go to that place and you allow him to reveal to you what changes are necessary to get out of operating from your soul into operating from your spirit and being in alignment with the will of God for your life, with renewing your mind, with renewing your emotions, with becoming intentional about what you think on, focus on, believe in, and feel, your intentionality instead of living at default will change everything about what you do and the results you create in your life, and then ultimately the legacy that you're creating. So it's okay that you're empty and you're tired, and it's okay to still show up, but also it's okay to be honest about it and ask for help. And well, in that case, if you want coaching, go to sterlingandstonementoring.com and you can see ways to work with me. I do personal coaching, life coaching in any area of life, not just business and not just with coaches, but with women. And yeah, I just believe that there are ways. Maybe you know somebody else who's not really a coach, but like a mentor or a spiritual mom or a grandma down the street who would be able to hear you and walk with you and encourage you and resource you, Go find somebody who understands what it's like to be empty and would be willing to just look at you and say, I see you. Because there's going to be somebody who comes along in front of you one day who you're going to be able to see they're empty, and they need you to say, I see you, and it's okay to be where you're at, and it's not forever. So, yeah, friend, I bless you. I pray for you and for me, for the restoration of our souls, for the sanctification process to have grace on us right now, and for the Lord to pour out his love so that we feel it even just in a tangible, physical way. That'd be great, Jesus. So, bless you. Remember, all things are possible. Everything's figure-outable. Love you, friends. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss any new episodes. And to learn more about me, my work, and how we can connect, Visit sterlingandstonementoring.com or check the show notes. And until next time, remember, all things are possible and figure outable.